At 5 p.m. All present except Trustee Ogamian. He is absent. Now on to public comments on closed session items. At this time, any person may address the board on any closed session item. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the board cannot consider issues or take action on requests during this comment period. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person per item, 20 minutes per topic, and all of our chairs are empty, so I am guessing that is going to be a no. Now on to closed session items. C1, Public Employee Performance and Valuation, Superintendent. C2, Public Employee Appointment. The board will meet regarding the salary or compensation paid in the form of fringe benefits for the position of Superintendent, an unrepresented employee. C3, Public Employee Appointment. The board will meet in closed session to discuss an employment contract with Superintendent, an unrepresented employee. And C4, Conference with Labor Negotiators. So we will go into closed session at 5:01. Convene to open session. And can we please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So, on to agenda item F, approval of agenda order. The board reserves the right to change the order in which the agenda items are discussed and are acted upon at this meeting. Subject to further action by the board, the agenda for this meeting is to be approved as presented. Items may be added to this agenda for discussion or action only as permitted by the Brown Act.
Can I make a suggestion? Can we move P3 up because she's on Zoom and she's in the Midwest? And would you guys mind if we just pop her on like right after the consent?
So put her...
Like at right before the association reports?
Okay. Anyone have any?
That's fine with me.
Okay.
There's no actionable item, it's just...
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'd like to... Can we pull Q5 and Q6 until all trustees are present?
Okay. Noted.
So I move to approve the agenda with changing the order, moving P3 up to after the...
Before the board.
Before
Before the board
association
reports.
reports?
No,
Before the
association
OC.
Before the association reports, and then tabling items Q5 and Q6 to a future meeting with all board members present.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, trustee Zekowitz seconds. Preferential is absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And absences, we have trustee O'Gamian. Okay, on to G, public comment on consent and non-agenda items. The public may address the board on any consent or non-agenda item pursuant to the Brown Act. During this period, the board cannot consider issues or take action on any item not listed on the agenda. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person per item, 20 minutes per topic. Do we have any public comment on consent and non-agenda items? Okay. So, agenda item H, closed session reportable action taken. There is no action to report. On to consent calendar. The CUSD Board of Trustees utilizes a consent calendar for items that require the approval of the board, but are of routine nature. They act upon these items in one vote. Any member may remove an item for additional questions. Board members receive their agendas and backup materials 7 days in advance of our meetings. They have the opportunity to ask questions and to do research prior to our meeting. It is their intent to handle the routine items expeditiously, so they have time to address issues that are more serious. So do I have a motion for approval of consent calendar?
I'll move to approve this consent calendar.
Okay, I have a motion by trustee Zekowitz. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, trustee Lopez White. Preferential is not here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And trustee O'Gamian is absent. Okay, so now on to our newly moved P3 West Ed MTSS presentation.
Okay. Tori, can you hear us?
Yes, hi, good evening.
Okay. The floor is yours. Or the
Oh,
screen,
wonderful.
or however you want to say it.
Great, thank you all. Thank you for having me this evening. I appreciate the opportunity to just run through a little bit of everything that we've been working on. I just sent you a request to let me share my screen real quick. All right.
And just so you know, Tori, is that the board has the original presentation, so if there's a few little things, just want to let you know that they have that in front of them. But everybody can see what you have on the screen too.
Great. Yeah, I just did a few things. I changed a few things just to make it a little bit more concise for the evening, but the content's basically the same. So the first thing I just wanted to start it with was to let you know the phases of our MTSS implementation and kind of where we are with Cloverdale. We usually start with just some developmental and initial implementation pieces. in the beginning, just looking at where the district is and what's going on. The second phase, we worked to build the systems and develop the tools within the district. And within the third phase, really the name of the game is sustainability and refinement, and that's where we are in Cloverdale this year. We're really working hard to ensure that the systems we built are refined and can last beyond any changes in personnel or what have you, because really MTSS is a framework. It's not just an initiative, and we want it to, what we've built, to sustain throughout time. So that's what we'll be working on this year. A great deal is refining those systems and keeping them there in place. So as you can see, the different phases that we've been through each year that we've been working there. So this year we will be spending a lot more time, not as whole groups, but individually at the buildings themselves. I'll be working half a day with each of the buildings and then the district themselves whenever I come to visit. We went back and we talked each time about our 4 essential components of MTSS: communication and shared responsibility, problem solving, data systems, and then tiered instruction and intervention. Within communication and shared responsibility, our focus is around a lot of team-based decision making. Within that, using our shared voices in those decisions. In the last year, we've talked a lot about common language and making sure that we're all in the same boat and rowing in the same direction, making sure that we're doing things in the most effective and efficient ways. And then also multi-directional communication from the classroom to the district and the district to the classroom. I usually use that metaphor of being in the boat because there's no doubt in my mind that before I started working with Cloverdale that there was great things going on. It's just that, you know, whenever we're all rowing a boat separately, we're doing great things and we're going places, but if we can put everybody in one boat and row hard together, we just do a lot faster and we do a lot quicker and more efficiently. So that's really kind of the goal behind that. For problem solving, we work hard to think on a systems level, and we try to dig a little bit deeper. We use a visual of an iceberg, and we think about things at an event level, and then we try to dig deeper and try to think about what are the patterns and the trends and the mental models that are supporting the events that are happening. We use a database decision-making protocol, and we engage in cycles of inquiry, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. We really emphasize student growth, and we use what we call a plan, do, study, act cycle, and within that we are analyzing student and district level data so that whenever we choose to implement any type of intervention, the question is always, are we having an impact? So that problem solving piece is a big part. And within our data systems, the teams have been working really hard to analyze data from the screeners, those universal screeners that we use, the Renaissance data, and being very efficient with their student systems for both attendance and discipline, and analyzing them from a systems level, not just the data, but also how they're using those tools. And then finally, looking at how we have tiered instruction and intervention. We use the terms instruction and intervention because we like to say you can't intervene your way out of a core problem. So we do emphasize a great deal about how we are instructing at Tier 1. How we instruct all students is key and very important. So those highly effective Tier 1 instruction evidence-based practices are very important. And then we also talk about making instructional decisions that support the needs of all of our students. So if you think about it, if you look in a pantry and you see a pantry that looks like this is kind of what we don't want to see whenever we think about everything we're doing in a district. We want to be really organized, and we want to know what's going on and how we have, what kind of initiatives we have going on, and make sure everything's lined up. So we really inventory and really think about what we're doing, and that's kind of what we want everything to look like within the district. And Cloverdale's been working really hard and thinking along those lines and having everything inventoried and planned and being very thoughtful about what types of programming and what types of interventions that they've been using. Some examples of tools that we've been using. One thing that they've done is they've actually self-assessed where they are within their implementation, both at a district and a site level. And we will continue to do that again this year to show growth so that they can see their own growth and also to be able to decide where their focus need to be and where else they need to work. This is the really like what we call the secret sauce is the impact report and a database decision-making protocol. It's how we organize data. So we don't want to just look at data to just look at data. So we really try to focus districts in on how to look at data, but also how to talk about data. So this database protocol talks about, we just look at the facts of the data, what do we see? So that's here's what, and then so what are you thinking? What questions do you have about the data? And then now what do you want to do about the data? What types of things are we going to do now that we've looked at it, studied it, talked about it? What are going to be our next steps? So we do this 3 times a year around the screeners. And the third time at the end of the year, we really talk about what are going to be our goals the next year. What are our big rocks? What are we really going to focus our energies on in the upcoming year? And each time we look at data, we analyze, are we on track? Are we meeting our goals? And last year, the district did meet their goals. Last year, they were very data-driven and goal-oriented. They worked very hard on increasing the knowledge of their staff around MTSS and collaborative teaming. They did have a focus on high-quality instruction and intervention. They were able to reduce their Tier 3 reading scores by 7% and increase their Tier 1 reading scores by over 10%. All the buildings showed growth. Jefferson showed growth in both reading and math. It should be noted that reading was the focus last year. And every district I work with, we do choose one or the other because it is too much to make a big rock of both at the same time as we start out. So they had some good growth and we're working to continue that this year. So the focus this year is really on sustainability and refinement and continuing that problem solving at a systems level. We're also going to be working on social emotional learning tools, looking at screening for social emotional learning and what tools we can put in that toolbox and just really continuing the growth that they've started so far.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, any questions from us?
I guess my question is like, what's next? Like, so year 3, it's a 3-year contract that we have with West Ed. Where do we go after that? Do we just continue with what we've been doing, or if there's new things, or what's next after this?
You want to answer that?
Sure. So the idea is that we will have them set up in these cycles of inquiry to continue to look at their data and make decisions based upon that data, and they will make their choices like, what do we need? Looking at our data, here's what progress we've made, here's where we're struggling, and you make your decisions on where do we go to get what we need based upon our data. So as far as MTSS goes, that is the cycle of MTSS. We will be using a sustainability checklist, so month by month, at their MTSS teams, what they should be doing and looking at once we're not working with them. If you all want to continue working with us, we'd be happy to continue the relationship. If we were to go deeper in a further contract, it would be more at the teacher level. It would be working with teacher teams deeper. It would be the next step, and that would be potentially a year or 2.
And each one of the principals and each one of their reports are going to have a little bit of what they're doing. I was telling you guys to do. Each one of the principals, as you'll see in each one of their reports, also talks about what they're doing at their sites when it comes to that for the sustainability part. And so that's how we're working on that as well.
Well, and I know for me, Jackie, like it has some really great general information and I so appreciate also the Google Slides. I just know that I would love from admins to like delve a little deeper whenever it comes to explaining like what your goals are. Where is the data being, you know what I mean? What data are or is driving you? And just some examples, I think, for those of us, especially not in education, it'd be great to kind of have more examples of what this looks like actually in progress, as opposed to just general information.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Okay. So now we are on to J, association reports. CSEA. I am guessing it is no report, correct? Okay, I was gonna say it wasn't part of the pocket, our packet, so. Okay, TAC. Sweet.
Good evening. I am Whitney Westfall, the president for the Teachers Association of Cloverdale. We have had a really great start to the school year. I've seen a lot of good assessment data coming out, and we've had some good meetings with people, and I know we're definitely looking forward to getting back to negotiations for the fall term. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so now on to school reports. K1 Jefferson Elementary School.
Good evening. I have nothing further to add to my report, so as submitted.
Thank you very much. On to Washington School.
Good evening, and same as Ms. Holden, as submitted.
Thank you so much. On to Cloverdale High School and JEH. And I actually do have a question for you first.
You have my report as submitted, and I would love to answer your question.
Okay, so there was one thing in the report that I'm not really well aware of, and I was kind of curious. Could you kind of explain the whole cost process a little bit more?
Yeah.
Because I know a whole bunch of acronyms, but not that one. So I was kind of curious.
Yeah, so in Santa Rosa City Schools, we called it SIC, Student Intervention Committee, and then I think in Annalee, we called it CST, and here we're calling it COST. So this is what we're really working on with Cloverdale High School, is nailing down our cost process. So for the past 2 years, we've had a CST team, and then last year we called it COST, and it was admin, counselor, campus supervisor. We would sit down and look over some students that are struggling academically, behaviorally, social, emotionally, and working with Tori from West Ed, we're looking to systematize that a bit better, because with the cost team that we had, it was just kind of us sitting around and be like, hey, what kids do you see having some issues? Gotcha. And so now I met with Tori over the summer to kind of come up with like a more solid game plan. So when we had our PD meetings at the beginning of the year, I explained that now teachers are going to start the cost process. And so the process is, and I have a slideshow that I could kind of send you from my PD days with a little flow chart. I love flow charts. And it starts with the teachers submitting a cost referral. They submit 1 to 2 cost referrals, and then that will go to our grade level teams, which meets the second Wednesday of the month. And so I designated one person to be the kind of lead for each grade level. And talking with Tori, that lead is going to look over all those cost referrals and determine which 3 students to bring up. So that was what we were doing last year and the previous year, is we would bring up all these different kids, and it would be like, okay, let's go. And so we would have sometimes 25 names that we would bring up in like 40 minutes. You know, every kid gets like 2-3 minutes and then got to go. And it was a little overwhelming. And so now each grade level is going to look at 3 different students, and we're going to dive a little bit deeper. So instead of kind of covering more students, more surface level, we're covering less students, but really diving a lot deeper. And so teachers submit those. The grade level reps look over and pick which ones we're going to do. Today was our first grade level team, and so I coach the grade level leads on, hey, here's who I would pick based on the needs of the referral. And then I created a documentation format that I could send you of what they're going to talk about, and look at the kind of very much like an SST form, kind of like what are their strengths, what are their challenges, next steps, people responsible, and then we'll look over those.
And whenever it comes to if a teacher refers someone to, let's say, tier 1 or tier 2 or eventually tier 3 interventions, is there anywhere that all of those students' teachers can actually access?
Yeah.
And go, you know what, look, there was a cell phone violation here. There was a tardy issue here. Like, is there one place where all of that's compiled?
Yeah.
Here?
So with the referrals that the teachers did, a lot of people referred underclassmen, and so since we're a small school, everybody teaches almost every grade level, and so some people are on the sophomore grade level team or the junior grade level team, but they may have submitted a freshman, but they weren't in their room because they were in that other room. So I haven't had a chance to look over the teams because they just had it in PLCs, but tomorrow I'll look over that, and then I'm going to send that out to teachers because it has strategies on how to help those students at school. Yep. So that's our big push this year, is really refining our cost teams. And I'm going to email Tori because we just had our first grade level cost, and I want to walk through the forms that I developed, and because we talked about everything, but now we actually did it. And so I'm going to be working with her on next steps. And so after the grade level teams will be our district site, or not district, it's our site level cost leadership team, where it's not the grade levels, and we'll have our school psychologist, we'll have a teacher representative, so we're expanding that team to see what we can do to help those students.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
I appreciate it. Okay. So on to agenda item L, Special Education and Student Services Report.
You have my report as submitted. Any questions? All righty.
We're good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on to M, Maintenance, Operations, and Transportation Report.
That's always says.
Submitted, yes. I know, but I at least want to say it out loud.
He's been once.
Exactly. I haven't seen him for a long time. Okay. Now on to board reports. Who would like to kick us off?
I'll go ahead.
Well, I would say that you guys, I passed out all of, do you want to read the one that,
Oh,
Lily?
I can read.
when we get there, do you want to read it? Okay.
That sounds good. I can read the preferentials, yes.
I attended a SARBS meeting. It was actually very positive. We've got some positivity going on this year with the students and attendance. The sporting events kicked off, and that's been exciting, and that's about it.
Thank you.
I too attended the SARB meeting, and echo it was positive. We had many students who were either 100% in attendance. Many had graduated last year, and then so there wasn't a lot of, I wouldn't say there was new students, it was a lot of review. So that was good. And then I attended the school city subcommittee, and as Ms. Holden said in her board report, the main topic of conversation was having a possible crosswalk in the back of Jefferson School and what that would take for a long-term versus a short-term. And I know the council was going to bring it to their meetings, or allow people to come to their meetings to talk about it. So that was that topic of conversation. And then I was able to attend all 3 sites back to school night at Jefferson, Washington, and the high school. So it was good attendance.
Thank you.
I attended Washington's back to school nights, and an abundance of sporting events, and that's about it.
Okay. All I have on my radar right now was I attended Jefferson's back to school night. It was so great to see so many parents kind of buzzing around the classrooms. I thought everyone did a wonderful job. And I will also say, as a parent that does have to deal with the Jefferson drop-off and pickup situation, I have to give all of you kudos. 100%. You know, us parents dropping off little ones in the morning can be a little much. So thank you for all of that hard work. And that is all that I have to report. And then I have Lily's, our student board representative. So student activity, it says ASB had our first rally on Friday, August 29th. It was a rough end. However, the freshmen were heavily spirited and they were rewarded with popsicles during an advisory period. ASB, I love the honesty, by the way. ASB hopes to continue that enthusiasm throughout the year. The junior class officers have already started fundraising for senior prom with bake sales during home sports events. The senior class officers have started planning the senior trip and plans for fundraising. Homecoming planning is underway. And then student concerns, the student body was informed that the water at the high school might be taxed or taxed more, and if that would impact any potential fundraisers like car washes. I know. I appreciate again the candor though. So.
And she's not here tonight because she's receiving an award.
An award, yes.
Correct. I think it was like Girls State or something like that. They were doing something, yeah.
So on to superintendent report.
So you have in front of you or in your packet, you have our LCAP was blessed. And so we are good to go with that, the letter in there. The second thing that I have that I'd like you to weigh in on is we used to have a preschool on our campus at Jefferson, and we have since not had that because we don't have a director anymore. And then really we don't, since we've got more of the TK has kind of taken its full shape now to allow all four-year-olds. So the question I'm bringing to you is, we do have a special ed preschool, but that is totally separate than what we're talking about here. And before we used to charge, I believe, for them to go. So we haven't done it. I think the last year we did it was the year before I got here, I think. And so the question in front of you is we currently have a license for that. And our license, in order for us to kind of keep it but not run it, still costs us a little bit. Otherwise, we need to drop it, our license, basically. And so if we were ever to get a preschool again, we would have to reapply and do all that stuff too, which isn't impossible. But my opinion is I don't really see preschool in our radar for the next little bit. I do know that we have several preschools around so it doesn't seem to fit in there. And I also think it's a big room issue. We don't have a room to be able to put that. We looked one year at putting it at Washington in the old band room, I think it was, and it just didn't work out. And so I think the biggest issue is having room for that. So my question to you is do you want me to let it go? Do you want us to just pay the fee and keep it? And so I'm just looking for direction. It's not action, it's just more of direction.
What's the fee?
$242
For how long?
each year.
Says if we were to let it go and then reinstate it, is that going to cost more than $242?
And how long is it going to take the process to then reapply for it?
I'm showing my inexperience of younger children in school districts.
I would say at this time, pay the $242.
Okay. Okay, I that's why I'm asking, because I really don't have, I wasn't here when we, and I don't know what it entails to get it going, put it that way.
When does it expire? Or need to be renewed?
As long as we do it every year, it doesn't.
Well, I'm just wondering, can you bring it back to us so that we know how much it would be if we had to start fresh? Like if we let it lapse and don't renew it.
Yeah,
we
I can't remember. Did they give us a date that we needed to let them know by? I thought it was pretty soon, yeah. So why don't I extend it for 1 year, then I can bring back information, because like I said, it's not a ton of money, but.
That sounds good.
Okay, is that good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other than that, I don't have anything else to report.
Okay. So now.
And I thought I was prepared for that one, but apparently I'm not.
Okay. There are many hats. Okay, P1, Measure H update.
So we have Aaron that's going to come up here. I'll put it up on the board in just a
Very well,
second.
yeah, thank
But
you.
just tell me when you want me to move it one slide.
Perfect, yep. So as reported on the Measure H update, I'm going to get into a Jefferson update that's going to kind of get to a lot more. I thought it was a good time to maybe get an update.
Hold on, I think you guys have it in front of you as well, I believe, yeah.
You guys got it? Cool.
Go ahead.
So just wanted to get you guys an update now that we're kind of obviously coming to the end of summer, school's back in session, and when we had came and talked to you last, we kind of chatted about different phases, so just wanted to get you updated on where we stand on some of those things and kind of let you into the project a little bit. So what we'll go ahead and chat about is the current status of the project. We'll recap what we've accomplished recently during the summer, give you a quick little funding update, and then kind of go over the next steps and look at the phased approach. So right now, kind of what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks is certification of the building pads. So on the 5th, the first one was certified. By the 15th, the second will be certified. Another piece of the current status of the project, if you were to kind of look at it from an overall view of our last 3-week look ahead, essentially is kind of what you're going to be seeing a lot of. The utility trenching and backfilling, compaction, all the scheduled inspections of that through our geotech on board has all been passing, all getting completed, and will be wrapped up by the end of September. And then what we're going to see a lot of in the project currently is JL Construction transitioning between the two increments of the project. So JL Construction will begin mobilizing. They've already got the trailer out there. They're just waiting for that second pad to become certified so they don't have to mobilize twice or come and go and really just kind of come take over for a second. So that's where we're at on the current status of the project. So we had kind of chatted about what we wanted to accomplish in phase 1 during the summer. So this is some of those items, and just kind of want to reiterate that it was all accomplished in that first phase. So that the demoing of all the portables, site demo, underground utilities, storm drain electrical. Shout out to the construction team and everybody involved, because with some unforeseens and stuff, for everybody kind of act quickly, keep us on schedule, has worked out really well. Storm drain tie-in along Venetia Way was important, and then preparing the bioswales. We still have a little bit more to fully have them completed in draining, but the preparation and the concrete pours and forming everything for the bioswales is all behind us as well. And then the concrete retaining walls ahead of the building installations as well need to get knocked out to make sure that we are ready to go. If I look at the baseline schedule of the project, the 9/15 date is right where we were at when we wanted to have JL come in for their increment.
I'm going to sound really ignorant because I don't know construction stuff at all.
It's all good.
What is a bioswale?
It's a form of drainage. So they'll create kind of like this landscaped area that'll help filter and help with the drainage, especially on sites that don't have a lot of drainage opportunity.
So basically, they don't want you to cement the whole thing down.
Yeah. And it's cool because it'll provide drainage, but then it is some of the landscaped areas that you'll see a part of the newer construction at the district are actually probably in both bioswales and then also providing trees and whatnot. So it's kind of a win-win, and they definitely get them into the school projects a lot when they get reviewed by the state architects. So I guess taking a quick peek at the funding that we were hoping for in September came a little early, so we were able to see it in July. A part of that funding, what we were able to do is bring Wrights Construction their full balance of their PO, so we didn't have any cash hanging out for them, so they were able to proceed with whatever they needed to complete phase 1 and then to come back a lot more towards the end of winter. We were able to work out a cash flow allotment for JLC, so they had enough to go ahead and come on for the second phase until this next installment of funding comes in. We were able to issue the final POs for Geocon for the special inspection and the geotech for the project, which was important. And then some miscellaneous stuff. We have some engineering advanced design fees with PG&E that were also taken care of. Okay. And then if we kind of look at the future, what we're anticipating is line items 5 and 6. That's the funding that we're anticipating for November, and all checks in. It still looks to be the case. I hate to say 100% because funding's out of my hands, and until Krista knows, until it's there to be spent and we have the monies, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we're all set to receive that by fall, which will continue the phasing out of the project as needed. Purchase orders that would be distributed or not necessarily distributed or given the ability to bill for will be the second half of JLC's full purchase order, and then Van Pelt likely come with their construction management services, something that we've just kind of put to the side until the funding got sorted. Okay. So this is just kind of an overview. If you actually click over, Glenn, we'll kind of see one that's a little bit more close up, and then I'll kind of run down. And this is just kind of, some of it's been changed a little bit since our last update when we came in for the resolution, but this will just kind of want to go over what we're looking like in fall, especially being that this is a construction project of decent size with the kiddos on campus during the fall, going into the rainy season. So what's that kind of look like? From October to December, so right around the corner, we're shooting for a middle of October, early November date to be completed with the TK drop-off and parking. So that's a goal that we're still tracking for, and that was a part of the phase before. Nothing's really changed there. A full completion of the bioswales, that's going to help out with the drainage, especially going into the rainy season as well. So that's something that we're working towards. Sewer tie-ins, lift stations, get them behind us, and then finally getting that last building pad certified, which is going to be towards the middle of this month. And then begin construction of the interior finishes. So going from winter into spring, completing the building shells, completing the interior finish, not beginning the concrete and flat work, but completing that, starting at all the above. That'll all happen around that time. And then the fun stuff, shade structures, play structures, landscaping, all that will come together and turn it from a construction site to a school site. And then we'll be working, obviously, through the closeout of the project. Okay? And that kind of wraps up the little update. Anybody have a question or a comment or anything you want me to address? Golden for now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job.
Very cool. Thank you
so
for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so now on to Jeffrey, oh, nope, we gotta get that. Okay. So now we're on to discussion action items. So Q1, consideration and acceptance of donations. So PG&E, the Blackbaud Giving Fund donated $616 to JEH, Continuation High School. Costco Roanoke Park donated 200 backpacks and a $500 gift card to Jefferson School. So thank you so much for those donations. That is wonderful. And do I have a motion for consideration and acceptance of donations?
I move to approve the acceptance of donations, item Q1.
I have a motion from Trustee Lopez White. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Garrison, preferential is absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
What if we didn't accept it? We've already passed out all the
I know.
backpacks.
It's a formality. to say-
Just checking.
I know, exactly. Say thank you another time. All those opposed? And then Trustee Ogamian is absent. Okay, on to Q2, consideration and possible approval of 2024-25 unaudited actuals financial statement.
Good evening. How is everyone this evening? So we're going to start with the unaudited actuals. What are the unaudited actuals? And they are the final year-end financial statements for the district that satisfy all of the state requirements until the auditors come and they audit everything. And they will be actually starting next week. So this is the foundation that where they start. This is what they look at. This is all of the information that the county reviews. They're in the middle of reviewing us right now, and that seems to be going well. Some of the highlights about the unaudited actuals, one of them is the current expense formula. 2 years ago, if you recall, the district had to request a waiver because we didn't meet that education code. And this year, the minimum requirement is 55%. We're at 60.38%. So excellent for us. The other thing is our indirect cost rate for future years. It came out at 8.29%. This year, it was 8.28%, so I think we're tracking pretty consistently, so I feel pretty good about that as well. And then our unrestricted ending fund balance. As you can see, the beginning fund balance, the $1,061,674, that was not really changed since first interim, which was last December. The ending fund balance was $1.2 million. The committed is $404,000, which is about 2%. That is the board reserve that's supposed to be 7%, but so we've made progress toward that. The other amount is lottery. That is unrestricted lottery that's left over that wasn't spent from prior year. That's $105,000. And then our reserve for economic uncertainty, which is the 3% at $715,018.
So the 7% though is the 715 plus the 404, right?
The 5%.
That'd be the 5%, right?
The 5%
Correct.
is the 715 plus the 404. Yeah. So we're halfway to the goal. And then what's next? We've been prepping this week for the auditors because they'll be, they don't come on site anymore. Everything is virtual now, but we have to have everything uploaded and all of those things, and they have a laundry list of requests. And so we've been working on that to get those loaded. They will be beginning that audit next week and hopefully through it in the next week or two. And then the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to update the 25-26 budget, our current budget, with the revised ending fund balances from 24-25 become our beginning fund balances for 25-26. So we'll be able to work on that, and you'll get an update on that at first interim. Do you have any questions for me?
Just a comment. I appreciate that we're working towards our
Yes.
goal and what we had changed our board policy to say. I was hoping that you would have a fun little title, like your fun with funds.
Exactly.
I'll work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much, Krista.
Thank you guys very much.
You started it.
If that's the only suggestion, I am a happy woman. Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 unaudited actuals financial statement?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion from trustee Zekwitz,
I'll second.
second from trustee Lopez White. Preferential is absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Trustee O'Gamian is absent. Now, to start Q3, which is
You have
the
to-
opening of our public hearing of resolution number 226-06 regarding compliance with Education Code Section 60119, sufficiency of instructional materials, and we open it at 6:43 PM. And if we don't have any public, right?
Hello?
But yes, but I mean, do we want to leave it? Like,
You can ask, would anybody have any
yeah,
questions?
Any questions? Okay. Then we can close or end the public hearing at 6:44 PM. Yep. Okay. I know. So on to Q4, consideration and possible approval of Resolution 226-06 regarding compliance with Ed Code Section 60119, sufficiency of instructional materials. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve Q4.
Okay, so I have a motion from trustee Garrison,
I'll second.
second from trustee Lopez White. Preferential is absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And trustee O'Gamian is absent. Now, due to Q5 and Q6 being pulled, we are on to future agenda items. Is there anything else that we would like to add other than facility use policy? Do we want to add the coming back with the TK, the preschool, or not TK, sorry, preschool program?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, you can just update us in your board
Yeah.
report, though.
Correct.
okay.
It doesn't need to be an item.
Right.
Is there anything else that we would like to then add that would not fit into a report? Okay, so on to future board meeting dates. We have October 8th of this year at 6 PM, November 12th, and December 10th.
And remember, December 10th is the,
Organizational
It's the
report.
Organization.
The reorganization, yeah.
September 24th.
September 24th. Okay. For special. Okay. Who would like to do the honors?
Move to adjourn at 6:45 PM.
Okay. Trustee Garrison,
Second.
Zekowitz, preferential is absent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?